I'm Kat.
I'm Haley.
Why are you laughing?
Because the music started and I was still singing some dumb song.
She said rolling.
Not a dumb song, but my brain is dumb.
Whenever I hear the music, I panic. I'm always afraid I'm gonna forget my line, even though I don't know why I would be afraid of that.
So fast.
I know. I'm I can't wait too long. Might throw things off. Anyway, this is fucking Night Classy, the podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and each teach a lesson we can't teach at school. What are we drinking?
Not wine.
There is a box of wine here.
There is, yes. We always have our not Boda Box Nighthawk Black this week.
It is a Boda Box.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I can't read. I don't know how I'm going to read my notes.
To be fair, the Boda Box label is facing me, and the front of it says Nighthawk Black, and that's what's facing you.
We're both right. Oh my God, we're both.
It's amazing how a different perspective can both be right.
We're getting really philosophical on accident. I don't know how to feel about it, but not wine yet. I have a Truly courtesy of Miss Barnhart.
You're welcome. It's the same Trulies that we drank last week, I think.
Yeah. Surprisingly, going back to school, they're not all gone.
No. Well, that wine box is from going back to school. The first day of having students back, I was so fucking tired. I could barely stand, but I made it to the liquor store to buy a box of wine.
There are certain necessities. They talk about how living things need air and shelter and water and all that stuff. They don't talk about how teachers need wine.
No, it's a school supply, honestly. I think I can write it off in my taxes.
I think you should.
And I will. No, I won't. Don't come for me.
We should have added that. I don't even know if Amazon sells alcohol. Probably not.
I think they might, because I vaguely remember these alcohol popsicles being sold on Amazon. So
add them to the school list.
Right.
Speaking of the school list, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who helped us get stuff for our classroom. I've been setting up all week. My students aren't back yet. Yours are. But I was looking around my classroom at all of the things that people ordered for us from the list. And my classroom is it's looking like my dream classroom. And I could not have done it without all of you who helped. So thank you so much.
Fucking same. Other teachers keep coming in my room and they're like, wow, it looks so nice in here. You really went all out, giving me all the compliments, but it was all you guys. And my classroom looks a bomb as hell. All the kids walk by and they want to be in my classroom. So shout out.
Seriously, yours is so cute. It's love so fucking the cute. Space theme, out of this world.
I'm into it. And I even got a galaxy printed border to put up. It just my room looks so good.
Oh yeah. I'm doing the most this year already. I got all these free fonts from Teachers Pay Teachers to do a chicka chicka boom boom hallway bulletin board.
Cute.
It's a very cute. I'll have to take a picture, but it took forever to cut out the letters because I was I'm not just doing the press on letters or buying a package. I'm this is going to look good as shit.
Wow, you're cutting out your own special letters.
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive. I would never. My classroom looks nice. It does not look that nice.
Once I get finished putting stuff up this week, I will take some before and afters. It's very impressive. We could not have done it without you all. So
definitely not. And I've been such a menace to my students this week because I'm look around the room. Look how fucking nice this looks. Do not mess it up.
You have to set expectations from the gates. Is that a phrase? That's a phrase, right? From the gate?
It is now.
Out the gates?
Out the gate. Right out the gate. Yeah, I gave one of my classes, everyone got a Jolly Rancher because they won whatever. But I was if any of these wrappers ends up on my floor, I'm going to freak the hell out. And not a single wrapper ended up on my floor. I was so proud.
There you go. Yeah. You just have to tell them what they need to do.
Yeah, just reminders. But it's been amazing. I have 7th and 8th graders this year. I'm used to teaching 6th grade and I love my 6th graders, but they were little babies. And the difference in maturity going from 6th to 7th and 8th is amazing. I've had such an easy week because I'm used to dealing with crazy little kids and these guys can handle themselves. It's wild. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know teaching could be not a stressful battle 24/7.
I'm so happy for you. That is amazing. And even myself, I feel like I remember a change in myself going into, for me, it was middle school when 7th grade started. But 5th and 6th grade is like you feel like you're getting grown, but like you're actually not there yet.
Yeah.
You are still a kid. You are when you're in, middle school and
totally.
high school, but
I feel like, there's definitely like a big leap going from 6th grade to 7th grade. And I never realized how big of a leap it was until there was not a single Jolly Rancher wrapper left on my floor. I was so amazed. I think I called Alec that night and I was like, guess what? Nobody left garbage on my floor. Not a single time this week. One time there was like a little scrap of paper and I was like, we're not going to have this. It never happened again. Not a single one of my classes. They have not left any trash.
what if you place that scrap of paper on the floor and you like lose your mind to show them that you can lose your shit?
I'm just like a psychotic, manipulative bitch.
Haha, what if I was psychotic?
Oh my God, no. I swear I'm like nice, but it was just like, this is all to say, I'm just really impressed. Like my kids have been so good. I had a really good week.
I'm so glad. I can't wait to see my babies. I have so many kids returning because I have a multi-age classroom and I can't wait to see them. It's been so long since March 2020 that I've seen them in person.
And it's been so good to like have kids in the classroom.
I know. Yeah. And we're still in this pandemic.
Oh yeah.
But I'm glad we're back in person. Hopefully we can be successful in keeping everyone safe, but I do not want to go back to virtual learning.
Oh my God, me either. Luckily, like most of the kids have been pretty good about wearing their masks all the time. It's required at our school. And I was able to spread my desks out. Like every desk has a 3-foot radius. So that's decent. Like I'm just fingers crossed. I really hope we don't have to go back to virtual.
Yeah. I thought about doing Summer Learning Academy and I was like, for my mental health, I cannot.
No, I can't stare at a computer 8 hours a day ever again. I just can't. It was so depressing. It was bad for my mental health.
Yeah. So we're back in person. You have students this week. By the time we record, I will have had my first students come in. Life is good in Teacherland.
It is. And speaking of Teacherland, I want to shout out a friend of the pod, a podcast BFF, Twisted Teacher Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to most of their episodes leading up to school. I was like, I'm going to get into a teacher mindset by listening to a teacher podcast. And they're amazing because they give teaching advice, but also break it up with celebrity gossip or just interesting things. And they're both really funny and just fun to listen to. And they mentioned our show a couple episodes ago. They talked about the squid inseminating the tongue thing. So they rock. Especially if you're a teacher or an aspiring teacher, definitely give them a listen.
What if there are, and yes, I agree with all of that, but what if someone listening is a teacher who gets to create their own curriculum? And what if there's a night classy curriculum?
They would get fired. There's no way.
Cut out all the bad stuff, but maybe
they just teach the lessons that we teach in their actual school.
Right. Just each weekly
we could sue them.
They just
oh my God,
copy our whole show that so that we can sue you.
That's better than Patreon.
I'm trying to retire one day, and honestly, a lawsuit could really help me achieve that dream.
It's kind of a dream of mine to win a lawsuit and never have to work again.
Yeah, that would be great. Or to be able to work for fun.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that if I won the lottery or got a lot of money for some reason that I would keep working. But I don't know.
If part-time teaching exists, that's what I would do. Because I enjoy teaching. I love it. But the days are really fucking long. Or maybe I could be a teacher and just pay someone to do all my lesson planning and create all the materials. Because that's really was a drain on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, time is everything. To get that back.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's super.
It would be super fucking duper.
So yeah, just go ahead, copy everything that we do so that we can legally pursue you in the court of law.
And if you're a lawyer and have any ideas for the kinds of lawsuits we could file, just in general, hit us up.
Yeah, we will pay you in podcast shout outs.
It's very valuable.
You can take a pic with us. We might even sign it. It'll be of high value and give us 2 years max. Thanks.
You did get recognized the other day, though.
Yeah, at the gym.
We're kind of famous.
In my Hose for Science shirt.
You've been recognized twice, and I've been recognized 0 times, and it's not fucking fair.
Well, people always say that we look alike, so maybe
It counts.
it's like seeing one of the Olsen twins and being like, which one are you? Yeah, it's a twofer.
I'm still pretty bitter. So if you're in the area, just like keep your eyes out for me. I'm around Midtown a lot, especially at the Midtown Kroger, Midtown Wines and Liquor. Let's see, where else do I go? Petco,
Burger King.
on Poplar, Burger King. Yes, but that's the drive-through. So I don't know if you could really see me. If you work at Burger King, shout me out.
Somebody shut her up and say that you recognize her, please.
Please.
Our hair is similar, but I don't really see the resemblance so much.
No, I think we both have kind of almond-shaped eyes and round faces.
Yeah.
I think,
just
and similar
white girls
hair.
with blonde,
Yeah,
not blonde hair, brown hair.
Basic white girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I don't see the resemblance either, but anytime we go out together, people ask if we're sisters.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah,
We're hot.
Me too. We are hot. Anyway, I'm ready. I was so ready to record this today.
I know. You're all jazzed about your lesson. I am too. I feel a good episode
Me
about
too.
to happen to us and you listeners.
Yeah,
so,
you're welcome.
well, I blew a 0.03.
I blew a 0.02. We're just getting started. I need to chug this truly.
Yeah, we really are. Okay, well, I am going first. So I'll begin this lesson by introducing the Green family. You probably don't know who they are right off the bat, but they're the family that owns the craft store Hobby Lobby. They're also buddy with the National Christian Foundation, and that is exactly what you would think it is. They actively fight same-sex marriages, abortion rights, just basic human rights. Hobby Lobby and the National Christian Foundation are involved in a love triangle, okay? They are the 2 primary donors to the Bible Museum in Washington, D.C.
Yes. I watched a TikTok about that, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe, no, I think I'm thinking of, there's like another weird Christian museum that's like in Utah, I think. So this is something else, but
I'm
never
sure
mind.
there are
Go
plenty
on.
of Christian museums in the US of A. I'm not sure. You may know about this already. I'm not sure. But the Bible Museum's mission is to, quote, invite all people to engage with the Bible. Steve Green of the Green family is a fundamentalist Christian. He is the owner of Hobby Lobby, and he's also the president of the Bible Museum. So this love triangle is just all in the name of tax breaks, essentially. It's like all the same guy. As of 2018, the Bible Museum in DC has over $200 million worth of ancient artifacts related to the Bible. And of course, if you're going to have a museum full of things on all things Bible, you've got to have some biblical stuff. And you don't just find biblical stuff lying around unless you're in unexcavated areas in the Middle East.
Yeah, you got to fucking steal it.
Or
in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus, seek out some museums that were left unsecured and prone to looting during the security vacuum after the 2003 invasion of Iraq.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Literally.
Amen.
Today, we're going to talk about how Hobby Lobby illegally purchased tens of thousands of ancient artifacts to add to Steve Green's already massive collection.
Oh my God. Are they in trouble? Tell me they're in trouble.
We'll get to it. Let me set the scene. That's towards the end of the lesson. So once Steve Green decided that he wanted to open up the Bible Museum, it was pretty easy to make a to-do list, right? Number 1, find a place to house the museum. Check. Number 2, find some shit to put in the museum. So Steve Green and his antiquities, is that how you say it? Mm-hmm. Antiquities advisor, Scott Carroll, amassed over 40,000 objects for this museum within 2 years.
How?
They were fucking working their asses off. I'm going to tell you how they got some of them in this lesson.
I want to be someone who like procures artifacts for museums. Like you just get to travel around and see the coolest stuff and then buy it.
Yeah.
You get to go shopping for ancient artifacts for your job. Like that sounds so fucking cool.
I'd like to be an art director.
Yeah.
I'm really into the art stuff.
art.
Yeah. Artifacts are cool too, but there are issues if they're looted.
Definitely don't want to like take something that belongs to another country, but maybe I want to be like a haunted artifacts dealer and go around and I'm like a psychic and I can like find the haunted objects. I always think about that. We were in an antique store the other day trying to find haunted shit.
Who?
You and I.
What antique store?
It was like, maybe it wasn't the other day. It was like a month ago. Remember when we went to that antique store? And we were like, let's find something haunted. And we found, we found something that looked haunted. But everything was so expensive. And we found that amazing bronze mirror.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
the place before the place that I was thinking of.
Yeah. Not the place that sells like jeans.
Okay, anyway. So the Green family had this goal to create the newest and largest private collection of rare biblical texts and artifacts in the world. It's a big task, and they went to great lengths to do so. In July 2010, Steve Green and Scott Carroll traveled to the United Arab Emirates to check out some artifacts to possibly add to their collection. When they arrived, Scott and Steve met with 3 dealers in a warehouse. The place was packed full of ancient artifacts, but it was really sketchy. According to the official federal complaint, we'll learn more about this later, the artifacts were, quote, displayed informally and spread out on the floor before him, arranged in layers on a coffee table, and packed loosely in cardboard boxes, in many instances with little or no protective material between them.
Oh my.
So just imagine all of this stuff, thousands of years old, just
a junkyard.
Yeah. It's like my room, but make it ancient.
Ooh, my room is in bad shape right now.
Mine is every time I get ready. That's just the plight of my life.
The shelves of my vanity are broken right now. So like everything that's supposed to be in there is just like on my desk and it's an issue.
That's just like... I'm trying to talk way too fast. It scrambles my brain when my stuff is all strewn about. Mm-hmm. And then I get home and I'm tired and I don't want to pick it all up, even though I know it'll take me 10 minutes.
If that.
If that. Literally, I look at my chair with a pair of jeans and a shirt, some socks. I'm like, ugh, no. I can't
fold things. Like I'll wear the same sweatpants every night for like a week and I can't bring myself to fold them in between wears. You know?
Why would you? You don't want to have to like flop them out to be able to put them on.
Yeah, that's too much.
I stuff my pajamas when I'm making my bed. I just stuff them under the pillows.
That's smart. I'm going to start doing that.
That's what I do. So they meet these dealers in this warehouse. None of the artifacts actually belong to these 3 dealers, but they're like, no worries. They belong to this 4th dealer. He's just not present during this meeting. And this 4th dealer somehow talks to the 3 main dealers or Scott and Steve, and he tells them that it came from a family collection of his in Israel. Basically, it's just a big game of telephone between the Hobby Lobby people and the dealers. The official federal complaint also says that the dealer told them, Scott and Steve, specifically that all of these artifacts, be assured they are legally acquired back in the late 1960s. And once they were legally acquired, they were sent to Mississippi in the US in the 70s for storage.
I mean, it's probably cheap to store stuff in Mississippi.
Probably cheap to do a lot of stuff in Mississippi.
Oh, it is.
Except for maybe get an abortion. You probably serve life in jail. Oh, wait, no, that's Alabama.
Yeah, Mississippi, you're good to go in Mississippi. You just can't buy a wine at Target in Mississippi.
Probably Kroger
I found that out
either.
the hard way, yeah.
Okay, so they're stored in Mississippi and then they're sent to Washington. Why? We don't know. That's a good question, though. And then from Washington, apparently they were sent back to the United Arab Emirates, specially for Steve and Scott to inspect them that day. And we're talking about approximately 3,500 to 5,500 artifacts.
Okay.
The final red flag in this situation is that the artifacts were severely underpriced. Spoiler alert, Hobby Lobby buys the artifacts, okay? They pay $1.6 million. The artifacts were later valued at $11.8 million.
Hobby Lobby loves a good bargain.
They do.
They do.
You know what? I do not stand them, but they got sales.
They do have sales.
They got sales. Hobby Lobby did not buy them that day. Steve Green, being his sensible self, went back to Oklahoma, where Hobby Lobby's headquarters is, and he brought his board together. They wanted to discuss whether or not to buy the artifacts, and he also wanted some expert advice and legal advice. So he contracted Patty Gerstenblith. We'll just call her Patty.
Okay.
She's one of the country's leading experts in cultural property law and a professor at DePaul University. So the board brings her in and she listens to everything that Steve has to say about the artifacts. And she's like, listen, cultural property looted from Iraq is an increasingly serious problem since the 1990s. It's specifically protected. And if you do this, there could be criminal charges and fines. It's a no for me. Don't do it. Steve promptly ignores everything that she advised him on.
Good. Because Jesus wants him to have these artifacts, so it's okay.
Right. He was put on this earth to make a museum on everything Bible and Jesus.
Yeah.
And
those artifacts belong in America because America is the home of Jesus.
Exactly. We follow Jesus and we are his disciples and the government even says so. So that must be right.
Oh, yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah. Not only did he ignore everything that she said, he literally ghosted her. He never talked to her again after that meeting.
You know when you're ghosting a lawyer that, like, things aren't good.
You're being shady, bro. Come
Just
on.
a little bit.
Come on. So he buys the artifacts in December 2010. What exactly are these artifacts? Okay, it's a mixed bag. Like I said, it's between 3,500 to 5,500. It included over 250 tablets, ancient cylinder seals, which were essentially just like a signature stamp, which was also included in the clay boulet. Not really sure how to pronounce that word, but there are also Babylonian letters dating from 1900 to 1700 BCE and some hymns as well. Some of the tablets were estimated to be as old as 2500 BCE. So
Dang.
old as fuck. Really like dusty. Ancient.
Dusty, crusty, musty.
Yeah. And a huge issue with looted artifacts is that the geographical origin is lost to time. There's no proper documentation. They don't go into a database for artifacts. But luckily, the tablets did have cuneiform inscriptions etched into them, and researchers have been able to translate some of them. One of the tablets said that it took 4 days to towboats upstream from Umma, another ancient city. And that gave them a more accurate estimate of where the tablets came from, but they ended up being able to verify that the tablets came from a previously unknown ancient city, Isagrig, in South Iraq.
That's cool.
I know. They were able to verify it using several references and seals. No one ever even knew of Isagrig until the tablets showed up on the market in 2003 with mentions of the city. It remains a lost city to this day. They haven't found exactly where Isagrig is. The tablets told of officials governing the city over 4,000 years ago. They also touched on official trades between cities, visits from other cities and their government officials, and they even had a schedule for the feedings for the palace dogs.
What was the schedule?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably just, I know they did eat cereal. They did not eat meat.
Interesting.
Yes. So there's some pampered pets for you. Throwback to last week. But none of these tablets are religious. They're all administrative. So why would Steve Green even want them for the Bible Museum?
Because you can tell people they say whatever you want.
That's true.
Nobody can read a fucking cuneiform.
Yeah, you could fool me. I don't know if that's the actual Mona Lisa. I don't know if that's a real mummy in the museum.
Yeah, why didn't they just make stuff?
I'm extremely pliable. Yeah, that would have made a lot more sense. I feel like you walk into a Hobby Lobby, you can make whatever you need to make using the stuff they have in that store.
That's true. They have so many art supplies. Why didn't they just create things for their museum?
They could have put some like a red paint on them and be like, that is the blood of Jesus Christ.
They could have done a lot of things before they decided to do this.
But they just had to do it. The reason why they actually wanted them for their museum is that for those who follow the Old Testament's literal interpretation, they believe that the prophet Abraham was alive at the same time these tablets were written.
So I'm going to start like a Lady Gaga museum and put like a McDonald's wrapper in it and say this McDonald's wrapper was around at the same time as Lady Gaga. That makes about as much sense as this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take a necklace that my grandma wore when she was younger and be like, this goes in the Depression section of the museum because she was conceived.
She was depressed.
Mental illness runs in the family, which is true. I'm going to start a mental illness museum. I'll publish all of my journals.
You just put your family on blast for like all their mental health issues in your museum.
Yeah, they would love that.
I could help you out. We'll do both of our families. I have some contributions.
Perfect. I'm sure plenty of people do. Just write us in. Give us your most interesting mental illnesses because I have the most basic ones. Okay, where was I in my notes here? Oh, yes. Okay. So Hobby Lobby's process of buying these artifacts is shady at best. So they wire $1.6 million to 7 different bank accounts that belong to 5 different people. The artifacts were shipped to the United States in several different packages and loads, of course. You can kind of expect that. They were sent to several locations around the country, but the boxes they were sent in were labeled tiles sample or ceramic tiles.
It's almost true.
Bitch, what?
They probably were like a ceramic.
Context
I mean, they were clay tablets.
Is important. No, you're not going to sample this shit and put it in your bathroom.
You never know. You could. They could tile the museum bathroom in those fucking tablets and they wouldn't be lying. They wouldn't be committing a sin.
This is a Hobby Lobby, not Home Depot. Which there's some issues with Home Depot as well. Maybe we'll save that for another episode. Yeah, maybe that was Steve's plan all along. He's like, I just really want something that's going to last. My bathroom doesn't get good ventilation.
I mean, they got such a good deal getting that for like 1/10 of the price. They may as well tile the bathroom with it.
They have enough of it.
Yeah.
It's not all going to fit in the museum.
Right. You may as well. It's better than just putting it in like the storage room downstairs.
Yeah, it just shouldn't just be collecting dust. You got to show it off, but in a humble way. Like, yeah,
I feel like the humblest way is on the bathroom floor.
Exactly. Like, yes, I have biblical adjacent artifacts, but it's casual. And I didn't steal them. I paid for them, but somebody stole them. So, yeah, there's an issue. The artifacts for the museum start coming in, and they actually, to this date, still haven't received all of them, but it isn't really an issue because several shipments ended up being seized by U.S. Customs agents in 2011. So it's a red flag. It's kind of sketchy when the box is labeled ceramic tile samples, and it's a 4,000-year-old stack of tablets. That would raise some questions. It began this years-long court battle. And of course, Steve Green and Hobby Lobby, they just lie, deny. Despite already owning 40,000 artifacts before this scandal even happened, Steve Green claimed that it was a case of improper paperwork and inexperience with collecting artifacts. He also pointed to the fact that he brought in a professional for their advice on obtaining cultural property. Yes, that's like if you went on a first date with a Tinder guy and he ghosts you, and then your friend, she's like, look at this cute guy. And you're like, no. And she just ignores.
What?
Never mind. That didn't make sense. I thought it was going to come out way better. Basically, he ghosted her, but still cited that he had talked to her. And
it's like telling your friend, like, no, you can't go out with him. I'm dating him after you ghosted him.
Okay, yes, that's a much, much better example.
Is that what you're going to say?
It's, I think, what my brain was trying to say.
Okay.
Who knows? My brain feels really fast today.
My brain feels slow today. We should meld brains.
Oh my gosh.
And then it'll be just right.
It might be chaos. So the entire thing is boiled down to Hobby Lobby having made a regrettable decision. They did.
They just start putting the tiles in Hobby Lobby, trying to like get rid of that. 25% off.
I first started researching this, I thought that they literally bought the tiles to sell in their stores.
Can you imagine?
No, but I'm sure people shopping at Hobby Lobby, like hardcore Hobby Lobbyers, would eat that shit up.
Oh, for sure. I've been in Hobby Lobby one time, and I just have to say, I didn't buy anything there. I was just curious, and it seems like a scam. Like, I was looking around, and every single thing in the store had like sale signs, like something % off, but then the prices weren't even low. Like, they were higher than what you could get at like Joann's. Mm-hmm. I feel like they just say things are on sale to make you buy them, but they're fucking not. It's not cheaper. Don't go there.
They do. Yeah. And occasionally, I've been in there plenty of times, unfortunately, but sometimes they do have good sales. Sometimes.
Fuck them.
It's okay. So they pay. Does Hobby Lobby even fuck? Is that allowed?
I just like
purely for procreation.
Fuck them. Yeah, fuck them. And then just like silence.
Fuck them with birth control.
Right. And then if the birth control doesn't work, you know what to do. If you don't want it, it's your right. So Hobby Lobby pays this $3 million fine. But to me, it's not really even a fine. It's more of a settlement type situation because the Green family already owns so many artifacts. Their collection is massive. And just statistically, there's no way that none of these other artifacts were not illegally obtained.
Yeah.
Nothing in their collection has been, or I'm assuming will be, examined further for cases of looting or smuggling. So,
yeah, I feel like unless the Iraq government really pushes, then like what's anyone else gonna do?
Yeah. Thankfully, they did have to surrender the artifacts and they were returned over in a whole ceremony in Washington, D.C., and they were returned to Iraq.
Okay, all of them?
All of the ones that they bought from the warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, but they still have all the other ones.
Are they actually going to put them in the museum?
Oh, yeah. The museum opened in 2017 or 18. Yeah. It's,
okay.
They don't have been in that museum.
All right.
So if you're interested in possibly,
If you're interested in arson, I know a place.
we can be like the Robin Hood of the Bible Museum. We can steal back the artifacts. And then that's what you could do. You could be a reverse person who gets stuff from museums. Anything that's looted or stolen.
Yeah. Okay. That's the job I want.
We need to come up with a
A
cool title for
reverse
it.
museum curator.
Yes. I do just want to state that it's funny to laugh at the ridiculousness of this entire situation and that Hobby Lobby did all this and just kind of laugh so we don't cry. But it really is a shame. It's the loss of history and any chance of historical context for all these artifacts for Iraq and Iraqis. And it's just fucked up. So all in all, I hope you all add Hobby Lobby to your boycott list if you haven't already. My sources today are from NPR, an article by Jane Arif, a YouTube video, The Majority Report with Sam Cedar on this event, the verified complaint, the official U.S. government document at justice.gov.
Primary sources, baby.
Hell yeah. A hyperallergic article about dispelling the myths around the Hobby Lobby Antiquities case by Michael Press, and an article by Owen Jarris on Live Science on this event as well. That is my lesson.
Thank you, Haley. That was fantastic. Let's hear from our sponsor. We'll be right back. I plan on getting freaking lit tonight, but the school year has started and I have a shit ton of work to do tomorrow. I have to spend all day lesson planning. I cannot risk a hangover, and that is why I'm so glad that I remembered to take my better morning before we came here to record today.
Right. Luckily, you can have both. We are privileged as teachers to have summer break off from work, but most people are working all year round. And I know plenty of people who like to have a little drink. I'm really thankful for Better Morning. They have a blend of natural ingredients that help you avoid alcohol-related headaches, nausea, and liver toxins.
And that is vital, especially when you got work tomorrow. So if you want to try Better Morning and just, have a better morning after drinking and be able to get all your stuff done, you can go to trybetterbrand.com and order yourself some Better Morning. Those are vitamin supplements that support your liver health, alcohol consumption support, and they let you enjoy a better morning. Use our promo code NIGHTCLASSY, that is NIGHTCLASSY in all caps, no spaces, for 30% off your order.
Wow, you can't beat that. Have a good night tonight, but have a better morning tomorrow.
Welcome to Miss Barnhart's room. I hope you had a good passing period. Are we ready?
What's a passing period?
Like the 5 minutes you have in
Switching.
between classes.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean, what's a
class.
passing period?
We didn't call it a passing period.
I've never heard it called that. It
Really?
makes me think of going to the bathroom to poop.
passing period.
Yeah.
Wait, you look wild. She just put her hair in a top knot and it was just very high.
I was trying to make it tighter so I didn't have to redo it, but it was crazy. I looked like a tree in a Dr. Seuss book.
I used to wear my hair like that. Remember when messy buns really became a thing in 2011? And I'd tease the hell out of my hair and then put it up in a messy bun on top of my head, and I just looked terrible, and I had braces.
Yes, it was a whole look. You had to complete it. You had to be wearing a shirt from some sport or something that you
or
some school t-shirt.
Yes, school
With
t-shirt,
some softy shorts or sweatpants.
definitely
yoga
the
pants.
gray sweatpants or Victoria pink yoga pants
With Uggs.
with Uggs, with a Victoria's Secret pink sweatshirt over that school t-shirt.
Yeah, and that look took quite a while to do all the hair and get the bun perfect.
You wanted to look like you just rolled out of bed,
But that takes
it took
so much
forever.
effort. Yes.
So much effort. And I would wear a full dark sparkly smoky eye and eyeliner.
Oh my God, Kat.
With that fucking messy bun and essentially a sweatsuit.
Did your mom not ever say anything?
She did. She'd tell me I looked.
Okay.
She made sure to tell me I looked terrible every single day of high school.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Mom, but that's true.
Sometimes you need to hear it when you're wearing dark, smoky eyeshadow.
I 100% stand with her now, but at the time,
It hurt.
It hurt. But I see where she was coming from. She honestly probably should have told me more often that I looked terrible.
She should have shown you a picture of herself in high school and been like, do you think I thought I looked good then? Yeah, I did. What do you think about it now?
The issue was like she went to high school in the 80s, and so like they looked cool. Like by the time I was in high school, that was like retro and cool looking.
Yeah.
So like I never thought she looked bad. I was like, wow, like that looks really cool. And then like I can't even show my kids my pictures from high school because I looked that bad.
I wasn't hip enough to recognize that the 80s were cool and retro, except for some like prom dresses that my mom wore. I wore some of those, but anything else, I was like, the fuck?
I loved 80s Day at school because I got to wear my mom's old clothes.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I liked wearing the leg warmers and the like workout clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom had like this cool like green giant like baggy leather bomber jacket from the 80s. I should go home and steal that from her.
Yeah, you should. Just don't even say anything.
Yeah.
She won't notice.
She wouldn't notice. Definitely not. I think my favorite thing that I want to steal from her, my grandma, I think it might have been her prom dress. It's like this crocheted light pink like slip dress from the 60s, and it has like a matching shrug, like a shawl. It's so fucking cool. I need to go home and steal that.
Yeah, crocheted stuff is really in right now.
Definitely. I should have stolen it. I'm going to Alex's friend's wedding soon. I should have stolen that dress for it. I've been like stressing out over what dress I'm gonna wear.
Just book a flight home to Seattle to steal some clothes.
Make my mom ship it overnight.
Oh, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. She's always sending you stuff.
I know. She
All right,
may as
Stephanie, you heard it here. You need to send the cool jacket and the crocheted dress. She has a wedding to go to.
Send it over. That's what I want for Christmas. Anyway, to my lesson. Alnwick Castle, located in Northumberland, England, has a reputation of being one of the most haunted places in the country.
Oh, okay. I understood the second part of your sentence, but the whole first half of your sentence, I was like,
Alnwick
what?
Castle.
What?
What I said? I can't even do an English accent. Anyway, Alnwick Castle, and I may have stumbled. Northumberland, England.
You could literally say anything, and I would believe you.
It's on the border of England and Scotland. There's a giant castle.
Okay.
And it's very haunted. There you can spot the Grey Lady who walks the underground tunnels. She's assumed to be the ghost of a Victorian maid who accidentally fell down a chute in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh, that's literally me when I don't have fake tan on. The gray lady.
It's me when my fake tan starts rubbing off and I'm just like patchy as fuck.
It's just a mixture of colors.
Yeah. Macalico.
Yeah.
Anyway, she fell down this chute, ended up in the tunnels, and then to add insult to injury, the dumbwaiter, like there was this thing that would like carry food from the kitchen down to other floors. It fucking broke, like really bad timing, and crushed her to death. So she's stuck down there.
Injury to injury. Not even insult to injury.
Injury to death.
One-way ticket. You're dead.
And in the 12th century, a more insidious spirit stalked the grounds. And this is the famous Alnwick vampire. According to legend, the lord of the castle at the time suspected that his wife was having an affair. So he climbed up onto the roof to like look into her window and try to catch her in the act. I think he was just like going around looking in windows trying to spy on her.
Right. It was totally fine for guys to have affairs at that time. Women, not okay.
No. She could get pregnant and have a bastard.
Oh, God. The bastard.
Little Jon Snow action. He got his. He climbed up on the roof, fell, broke his neck. Shortly after he was buried, an illness swept through the town, and livestock and people started dying, like tons of them.
Ew, was it in the water?
Oh, like his rotting body?
Yeah.
I don't think it was in the water because he was buried in like a cemetery. But the priest of the town did blame him for it because they said his body smelled so rancid that must have caused the disease.
Yeah, you're like, that is a bad egg.
Yeah, like that's fucking nasty.
It's
I don't
a
know.
rotten egg. He was as bad as when you forget to find all the Easter eggs in the living room. He smelled bad.
That's what they said. That's exactly what they said. And it wasn't long.
Unholy.
Yes, that is not a holy artifact that would be in the Bible Museum.
We should create a hell museum. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
We should. That would be a good way I can live out my dream of being a haunted artifact curator.
Somebody call Lil Nas X. We need his help.
He can like create the aesthetic.
Yes.
And we could collect all the shit.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got it.
Easy. Just get him on the phone.
Yeah, as we're returning all of the stolen artifacts, we'll buy properly some really
Where would you
wicked stuff.
buy a hell artifact? The Hollow Earth?
Listen, this is the Hollow Earth. I come up with the ideas, you come up with action plans, okay?
We just need to win our lawsuit so we can hire someone else to come up with that action plan.
We're looking at you all to copy us.
Please. Anyway, it wasn't long until the villagers started seeing the Lord walking around the town, even though he'd supposedly died. So they're like, this guy is responsible. He's still walking around. So they blamed him for all these deaths. They formed an angry mob and descended on the cemetery to dig up the body and confront him because he was rising from the dead, menacing the town. And they found the body in a shockingly shallow grave, only under like a thin layer of dirt. Like he was walking around and then like quickly buried himself. And he was...
That's like when I've ever been on the beach, like, guys, bury me in the sand. Guys, no? I'll do it myself then.
Yeah, when you bury yourself in the sand.
Right, make me a mermaid. Give me huge tits.
Anyway, when they pulled the body up, it was grotesquely swollen. Like he was just bloated as fuck. And so they stabbed his body with a spade and fresh blood poured from the wound.
Ew.
So this is clearly an indication that he was a vampire.
Wait till daylight. If he doesn't sparkle, go back to the drawing board.
Oh my God. I've been watching the Twilight Saga on
They're all on Netflix.
I know. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And my students are starting to get into it. And like they're talking to me about Twilight. And I'm like, this is probably not good for your development because it was not good for my idea of what a healthy relationship looked like when I was 12. But I please watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage at this point.
Exactly.
I can't wait for hundreds of years from now for them to study Twilight in school like they
as
do
if it was the Bible.
Yeah, as if it were the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, I want...
That's all I want. If
I want
ever...
ancient Twilight artifacts in 10,000 years. Like a keychain from Forks, Washington.
Oh,
Someone steal that for me.
Or like a chip of paint off of Bella's old red truck. Billy's wheelchair.
Or a rock, and they're like, this was alive at the same time as Bella Swan put it in a museum.
There should just be a rock museum, and it's the history of the world. All the geologists listening right now are like, hell yeah.
Yeah, a rock museum. It
rocks.
It's the museum of Jacob Black, the werewolf. Okay. Anyway, this meant he was a vampire. So the body was removed from the ground, burned to ashes, and after that, the diseases ended, and this man came to be known as the Alnwick Vampire. Alnwick Castle is still standing strong. Today, it's a tourist attraction, and it was the set of the first 2 Harry Potter films.
Oh, wow.
But deep in the grounds, behind acres of colorful, beautifully kept gardens and guarded by a wrought iron gate with a picture of a skull and crossbones, is the Alnwick Poison Garden.
Okay, there are plenty of things that you could put on a fence that are going to make me not want to go into it. A skull and crossbones is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I want to go in there.
And so is this place. It has exactly 100 deadly and narcotic plants. And that will be the subject of our lesson today.
Oh my God, I love it.
In 1995, Jane Percy became the Duchess of Northumberland after her husband's brother died unexpectedly. So they moved into the castle. Jane was a new duchess, and she was fucking bored. She's like, what do? I just have to sit around and be a duchess all day. This was in 1995. It's like, there's stuff to do, but like...
But also still kind of boring.
Still kind of boring. And so her husband was like, girl, you need a hobby. And he told her that she should do something with the gardens, because way back during like World War II, the gardens was like, it was called like, I didn't put this in my notes, but like basically they were growing food for the soldiers, and there was like this big movement of like growing for freedom. But like since the World War II, like everything was kind of dilapidated and like it just kind of became a forest. So there's this huge estate and no garden. So he's like, go plant some shit. She says he probably expected her to like plant a few rose bushes, but Jane is extra.
Good.
She's an extra queen.
Janes are always going to be extra. There's no way around it.
You have to be extra with a name like Jane.
Yeah.
Like people, you cannot let people call you plain Jane.
No.
You
may not. There's that song, Plain Jane. You cannot have a whole song written about you.
No, you gotta do something. So she, in 1996, hired Jacques Verts, a landscape architect who had experience working in the French president's gardens. He's this major landscape architect. And
he's a big deal, okay?
He's certainly a big deal.
He's an architect. He's a landscaper. He's a landscape architect.
Yes.
You need him for your garden needs.
She did. And he created a masterpiece of sprawling gardens covering 14 acres at Alnwick Castle that's become one of England's biggest tourist attractions, with 600,000 visitors every year. And it brings in millions of dollars to the community with tourism. So she's a really big deal over here for like making this happen.
Yeah, Jane, you really did something.
She really did. And she didn't just want a regular garden. She wanted a cool garden. She wanted something that would set her garden apart from others. Originally, she wanted an apothecary garden full of medicinal plants. But
everyone has that.
Right. She's a little more goth than that. She went on a visit to Italy to the Medici Poison Garden, and there she grew interested in having her own garden of deadly plants. On another trip, she visited the archaeological ruins of a medieval Scottish hospital, and it was here that she learned about how opium and hemlock were used to anesthetize amputees during 15th century surgeries. So here her like interest in medicinal plants and her interest in deadly plants kind of overlapped. She like started to realize that deadly plants often had medicinal uses, and she was really into that. And she also correctly points out that, quote, children don't care that aspirin comes from the bark of a tree. What's really interesting is how a plant kills you, how the patient dies, and what you feel like before you die.
Ooh, yeah, she's goth.
Yeah,
she's goth. If she's like, it's really cool to think about what it feels like when you die.
Yeah, she's goth as fuck. And so she made her garden of deadly plants. Through careful selection, Jane settled on the 100 plants that would grow well in the garden. And when choosing these plants, the most important thing to her was that every plant tell a good story. And this is where I become a little bit of a list bitch, because I'm going to tell you about some of these poisonous plants.
Please do.
First off, we have laurel hedge, or cherry laurel. And this plant is extremely common in England. It's so common that a lot of people don't know it's poisonous. There have been instances of people trimming their laurel hedges and then taking the like waste from it to the dump and passing out in their cars behind the wheel from the toxic fumes.
Oh no. Is that all it does to you, is makes you pass out?
Well, if you eat it, you could die, but there's so much fumes because cherry laurel produces cyanide when you break the leaves or stems.
Oh my God.
So it's cyanide gas.
Meanwhile, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've seen TikToks claiming that dandelions have a lot of great health benefits, and that in America we have this whole corporation dedicated to killing weeds, dandelions, aka, when it could possibly be out here saving lives, especially people with heart disease.
It's a food source. You can have like dandelion salad.
Right,
it's
like
pretty good.
The sloth
it's kind of bitter.
Ice Age.
Yeah, there you go. I've always wanted to like chomp on a dandelion after watching that movie.
Me too. I got Holly, one of our loyal listeners, also another teacher. She got me a sloth that I can change the outfits while we're going through like weather time in my morning meeting. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna name him Sid.
That's so cute. I want to be in your class.
I want to be in your class.
No, you don't.
I mean, that's what this podcast is. We're in each other's classes.
That's true. We're living out our dream. During the Victorian era, this cherry laurel was a popular tool of butterfly collectors because you would put a butterfly in a jar with a cherry laurel leaf and it would poison the butterfly and without damaging it, and then you could mount it.
Oh, wow. It's like when I lock my sim in a fire room.
It's exactly
no
like
door.
that. Yes.
I'm like, I want this sim to have a baby with a ghost. There are specific steps I need to take.
I still need to play Sims.
Just come over to Tommy's house. We'll play Sims.
I don't want to go to Tommy's house. Bring it to our house.
That's where the Sims are. It's on his freaking desktop.
Tommy's house doesn't have any decorations.
Oh, you need to come over. There's a rug in the front room now.
Wow.
I'm telling you, single-handedly, I'm turning shit around.
Okay, I'll give it another try. We have Brugmansia, or angel's trumpet, and this is Jane's favorite plant in the garden. It's part of the same family as nightshade. It's highly poisonous, but also a powerful aphrodisiac. In the late Victorian era, the ladies would keep the flowers on their card tables, and they'd put small amounts of the pollen into their tea, causing an LSD-like trip. And so they just fucking trip out together while drinking their tea in the parlor. And it's also a great way to die because it's painless. And if you take enough of it, you're just like horny and tripping until you die.
Oh my gosh. We're looking at some pictures. It looks like kind of like an upside down umbrella, but they're very colorful. Mm-hmm. And I know that this is not an accurate depiction in my mind, but when I think of this garden, I just picture a bunch of black flowers and just like everything in the garden is black and green in my mind.
No, most of the flowers are beautiful. And these, what are they called? Angel trumpets. They're sold as like ornamental, like basket flowers in just like nurseries. I actually read a really mean article about this garden being like, well, you may as well call my garden a poison garden because most plants are toxic and there's nothing special about it, blah, blah, blah. Because like most of these plants are either just like common weeds or sold in stores. But it's still cool to have like a whole garden of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The foresight that went into it.
Yeah. It's cool. Don't let the haters get you down, Jane.
Yeah, the imagining of what death feels like. That's what makes it special.
Definitely. Next, we have black henbane, which is nicknamed devil's eyes. This is probably like more like what you were picturing when you were thinking of like a poison garden. Black henbane was used as a medicinal plant in the ancient world. It treated ailments of the bones, rheumatism, toothache, asthma, cough, nervous diseases, and stomach pain. In some cultures, it was also a sedative and narcotic. And because of all these uses, it was brought by colonizers to North America, and it's now considered an invasive species. In most states, you're not allowed to take it across state lines because it's like a really bad weed, and it's highly toxic. It has this strong, overwhelming odor. And on warm days, the odor like really comes out, and the poison garden is walled. And so it kind of traps all the gases from the poison plants, especially this one. And people have been known to collapse or faint while near this plant in the garden.
Oh my gosh. That flower is poison. Poison.
Looks kind of scary.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It literally has black veins and the leaves or the petals are white, so you can see right through them.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a corpse. Like it's white and then has these dark purple veins.
Yeah, it does. And I think it's Kat Von D, the tattoo artist, who has a garden that is all black plants.
That's pretty cool.
And that's what I was picturing. Yeah.
That's interesting. Cool. We have giant hogsweed, and this has these tall stalks up to 14 feet high and these like pretty lacy, like they kind of look like lady's breath white flowers. They also have this sticky sap, and this sap can cause 3rd-degree burns and like horrific blisters if you get it on your skin. And the reason it does this is it strips your skin's natural protection against UV, so you immediately just start getting burned by the sun. And the chemical lives in your skin, and these blisters can continue to appear for up to 7 years.
Ew. First they're sweet, then they're sour.
Yeah.
Then you're dead.
Then you're dead or permanently blind if it gets in your eyes. And this plant is really common in the Northeast, Midwest, and Pacific Northwest of the United States, and it's slowly spreading.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain I've seen this plant.
Yeah.
Not tall, but I think I've seen it.
Not tall, but
not
around.
Not grown to 14 feet.
What was it called? A tall hog? You're like, I've seen a hog or two in my day.
It's called giant hogweed.
I know a giant hog when I see it. And that there is a giant hogweed.
I've seen a giant hogweed once or twice.
I dated a giant hog.
Delphinium has these big, beautiful flowers, and they're actually really popular in gardens, but super poisonous. Consuming any part of the plant will cause abdominal pain and paralysis that leads to death.
Oh my gosh. Delphinium sounds like one of Ariel the mermaids. It sounds like that would be her sister's name.
It does. Delphinium is a pretty name for a girl. I think so. You could call it, or like Delphine.
Yeah, I like Delphine.
Yeah.
Enium just sounds like scientific.
You're right.
A little too cold.
But Delphine is pretty.
Delphine.
It's like a cool like version of Daphne. But Daphne's still a cool name.
What was Georgia's name before it was Georgia?
Goldine.
Goldine. Okay, Tommy and I were trying to think of it the other night. I couldn't remember.
It was Goldine, but we did consider naming her Daphne,
That's
which would have been a cute name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that name. Maybe I'll name a child that. Or my next dog. Or my next cat. Anyway.
All of them.
All of the above. I'll just have like 8 Daphnes in my life. Atropa belladonna, aka deadly nightshade, is in the garden. It's very common throughout the UK and US, and it has these sweet blue-black berries that are so poisonous that just 4 of them are enough to kill a child.
Oh no.
And during the Italian Renaissance in Venice, ladies of the court would drop the juice of the berries into their eyes because because beauty is pain, and it would cause their pupils to dilate and their cheeks to flush and like make them more beautiful. But that eventually led to blindness and death.
Oh my gosh. It's like you're only beautiful if you're in pain.
Right.
Like, literally.
It's like how people used to think like having tuberculosis was sexy because it made you like skinny and pale.
Right. You all are just jealous because I have an iron lung and you don't. Right. Oh my goodness. Also, I'm so glad, like, living in the time that we live is fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. But can you imagine just trying to eat some berries?
Oh my God.
And then you die trying to figure out what's poisonous and what's not.
God, yeah. That's like Alec and I have been watching Alone, and this chick was like eating berries and then like got poisoned by them.
She gone.
Just like, I'm glad I don't fucking live in the wilderness alone.
Me too.
I have to figure it out for myself.
I was just going to say something about Naked and Afraid.
I hate in Naked and Afraid when they all get like fucking poison oak like in their private parts.
Yeah, that's
the
like,
worst / best part of the show.
What were you doing?
Right? Well, like they'll squat down to pee, like the women, and like squat on fucking.
That's their fault.
Yeah,
they're survival experts apparently, and they're gonna squat on some poison ass plant.
Maybe
squat.
they like it.
It's that good burn.
Oh my God, imagine how painful that must be.
Oh God, no.
I didn't know that daffodils were poisonous.
They are?
Yeah. They're usually not lethal unless you're a small child and you like eat a whole daffodil bulb. But they do like cause you to get sick if you eat them. It can cause abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, and burning of the mouth, lips, and tongue. And there's a whole name for like when you pick daffodils, you get a rash on your hands. It's called daffodil picker's rash.
Wow. In elementary school, we planted daffodils. Thankfully, I guess I never had to touch them.
Yeah.
We just had all the bulbs.
If I like worked at a school, I would not have the kids plant daffodils. What if one eats it and dies?
That would be really bad.
Yeah.
Is what would happen. What
That's how you lose a lawsuit.
Yeah, we're on the winning side, strictly. What would you have your kids plant?
Peas. What it was
Peas?
like runner beans. Peas.
Okay.
I just thought of it because the other day at school, they like gave the kids packs of like snap peas, you know, the peas that are still in the pod, and they had never seen those before. So they came back in my room and they're like, they gave us peas and they were still in the shell, and they were freaking out, and they like didn't know you could eat the shell. Like they thought they had to crack open the peas and like eat raw peas out of the shell. They were all freaked out, and one kid got 2 packs of peas instead of a pack of peas and a pack of pretzels, and she was not happy. She talked about it all week.
That is an issue.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too.
I would have said something immediately.
She'd like to speak to the manager. Datura, aka thorn apple, is a night blooming plant, and when jostled or crushed, they emit a foul smelling smell similar to rancid peanut butter, which I'm not sure what that smells like.
I've never heard of that before.
I didn't even know peanut butter could go rancid.
Yeah, me either.
Like, I don't know if it can, but the seeds and flowers are a powerful narcotic and hallucinogen and cause serious illness and death from consuming them.
So don't do it, is
They
what
look
I'm hearing.
freaky.
Yeah.
They do. They're all spiky.
They bloom, though, into these pretty flowers. There you go.
Beauty's pain.
It is.
Yeah, it looked like a spike grenade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they're called thorn apples. It's
Like a
a
hedgehog.
spiky
Oh, yeah,
apple.
it's a thorn apple.
Yeah. Last on my list is monkshood, aka wolfsbane. And what?
Giant hog with a monk's hood. Uncircumcised.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow.
Mind meld. 1, 2, 3. It's just always uncircumcised from now on.
Yeah.
Whenever we play that game.
Hood and hog. Mind meld. Circumcised.
Monkshood. AKA wolfsbane. All parts of this plant are poisonous when consumed, as they contain aconitine, which is a heart and nerve poison. Historically, this plant was used to poison spear tips and arrowheads in battle. And this poison was a favored execution method in ancient Rome. The plant was nicknamed wolfsbane for its perceived ability to repel real wolves and werewolves alike. But who's to say what's real and what's not?
Right. We know the vampire is real, though, living in this castle. For some reason, when you said it was used for executions, I went on a whole brain train, and I just pictured myself getting executed and crying to the executor and saying, "You're literally so mean."
How do you sleep at night?
Why me?
Oh my God, you're literally so mean. What are you even doing right now? Oh my God, that would be you.
That would be me.
In 2009, wolfsbane was used by the Curry killer to poison her ex-boyfriend. So that's another claim to fame that it has. And because of all of these plants' poisonous qualities, visitors of the poison garden are banned from smelling, touching, or tasting any of the plants.
How are you going to not smell it? You wear a mask?
Well, you can like smell the air, but I think they mean like don't go up and sniff them.
Okay, so you can be in there.
Yes.
You can breathe.
You can be in there and breathe, but like I said earlier, like people have fainted. Like people faint every year because of just like all the poison fumes in
There's
there.
like a lifeguard and they're like, no wafting.
Yeah, actually they like only you can't go on unguided tours in there.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
like there
highly
needs to be
reasonable.
someone in there with you. And the most dangerous plants even live behind cages. So like you
Ooh.
really can't get to them.
I love the idea of having a plant in a cage.
I know, isn't that cool?
Yes.
You can look at pictures online. There's like these iron like cages like encasing some of the plants. Especially they grow cannabis, opium poppies, and coca plants, and there's like cages around all of those.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they use the growth of these narcotics to educate children about drugs. And like I said, like all the tours are guided. That's partly to keep people from like going up and touching and sniffing the plants, but also so people don't take any like quote unquote souvenirs because they're growing drugs in there.
Yeah. Those cages look like if you were to hollow out and cut a grenade in half. It's kind of what they look like. It's kind of like a net, not like a bird cage.
Kind of like a bird cage.
Looks like a Zeppelin skeleton.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
When I think of bird cages, I think of like a rectangular prism, but I guess you're right. Yeah, there are those like hanging ones.
Yeah, it's like a hanging one.
But these are like thick iron cages.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not fucking around.
You could keep a gorilla in there.
You just lift it up.
A very
and
tiny
you can
gorilla.
get in.
A very tiny gorilla.
A zygote. A gorilla zygote.
I'll show you a
An
gorilla
aborted
zygote.
gorilla zygote.
I'll show you an aborted
Hobby
gorilla.
Lobby is not happy.
A monk's hood. I'll show you a monk's hood.
Oh my God. Women have said it looks like an aborted gorilla zygote.
Hobby Lobby is staging a protest as we speak. Anyway.
This is what it looks like at 1 week in utero.
Oh my God. Okay. So you can't pick the plants to take a souvenir, but there is a gift shop. And in this gift shop, you can find artisan crafts, local beer, Christmas ornaments, and a lot of Harry Potter memorabilia. And that is the Alnwick Castle Poison Garden.
Wow, we need to go there. Add it to the list. I'm so excited.
I want to go too. It looks amazing. My sources are alnwickcastle.com, great-castles.com, Smithsonian Magazine, hdtv.com, and Wikipedia. That was my lesson, bitches.
That was wonderful, inspiring. I can't wait to go there with you. And I loved learning about it.
Thank you for coming on this learning journey with me. It was inspired by a meme I saw on the My Favorite Murder subreddit today. Someone like posted a picture of the garden and then there was like a comment underneath that said like, do they have a gift shop? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I researched it today, this morning, right before we recorded.
Oof. You know what? Sometimes it happens. But if they have a gift shop, then chances are it's 50-50. Either it's really shitty or it's really good.
I looked up the gift shop because I was like, they must have like cool stuff about poison plants, but it's really just all Harry Potter shit.
The experience is the gift.
Yeah, definitely. And I would definitely try to pick something. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. That's bad, but I'd want to.
I want to go up to the cage and be like, how is this secured?
I would want some of those angel trumpets to act like I was Claudia Severa in a Victorian dress drinking hallucinogenic tea.
Yeah, you need to do a photo shoot ASAP.
Definitely. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Follow us on social media, recommend us to a friend, and maybe even check out our Patreon. But as always, thank you so much for listening. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.